Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can kind of do and implement to be able to actually close more clients for your creative agency or editing services, whatever it is you are trying to do. These are some of the things that I also teach to my higher level people. I work with one-on-one, kind of like students, I guess. So yeah, these are actually really good tips. They are not going to be like quick fixes for your business. They are more like fundamental principles that, if you work on and that if you are aware of, you can really take your business to the next level and hit that 5, 10, 15, 20K a month or whatever it is that you are trying to achieve in your creative business. So without any further ado, let's jump into my computer and do some training. So the number one way to close more clients for your service is basically believing in your service or product, right? Because at the end of the day, sales is nothing but transferring belief from one person to another. It's all about energy transfer, right? So the stronger your conviction is that what you are selling actually helps people and is worth more than the amount of money that you are charging for it, the easier it will be for you to sell consistently at high ticket prices as well. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. They are charging money for a service that they don't even believe in or that they don't actually have expertise on, right? So if you're a video editor, for example, and you're trying to sell your service for high amounts of money, well, you need to be actually really good at video editing. And I know this sounds super simple, but trust me, there are so many people who are actually not at the level yet where they should be, and they are trying to sell it at high ticket prices, or they are trying to close for these advanced services. But then when the client asks you to show an example of your work, all you can show them is kind of like nothing or pretty mediocre work at best. So this is the number one thing. You need to be able to provide a service that you can actually believe in. And also the caveat to this is that you cannot trick yourself into believing in what you're selling through affirmations. I know there's a lot of fluff out there on the internet, a lot of mindset stuff, and I do believe in that, but believing in your service is not something that you can trick yourself into, right? That's just called being delusional, quite frankly. What you need to do is you need to gather evidence for yourself through the marketplace, through trial and error, right? There are no shortcuts to this. And it is a long-term game, right? Entrepreneurship and running a business of any kind is in my opinion, the ultimate form of self-improvement. So how do you actually create this strong belief in your service? Well, here are basically 3 things that you can focus on to make sure that your belief levels kind of rise over time. Number 1 is improving your offer and your service delivery. Pretty self-explanatory. This is where you should be focusing on a lot of the time. If you're selling video editing, make sure your skills are evolving constantly. Make sure you're understanding the social media platforms you are creating the content for. Keep yourself up to date with these things, and also learn the business principles behind why certain pieces of content drive more sales to businesses and why others don't, right? Just constantly keep learning new things and implementing them in your own service. Now, number 2 is, again, just training yourself and your team, staying on the cutting edge of your industry. So improving your offer and service delivery is one thing, and then training yourself and your team as well as human beings is another thing, which is something you also need to do, because as you become a better human being, as you become more competent, you will be more confident in your skills as well to deliver to clients. If you are more on time, if you are healthier, if you are a sharper thinker, all of these things kind of add up and make up the person that you are, which is at the end of the day what clients are buying into. They are not necessarily buying into your agency or service, they are buying into you as a person. So improve your social skills, communication skills, your health, your mental health, stuff like that. Now, number 3 way to increase your belief is to actually talk to your clients and customers. And the thing is, if you're afraid of doing this, you're probably not doing a good job at service delivery. So you need to fix that. Otherwise, unless you are a psychopath who doesn't have any morals, you're going to self-sabotage yourself from getting more clients. So this is why it's super important to actually believe in what you're selling and to have a good service delivery, is because if you know that what you're selling is not that good, you're subconsciously going to kind of sabotage yourself from being able to sell more and to do the outreach every day, to hop on sales calls, to push hard on calls when you need to, handle objections properly, and so on. All right, let's move on to the second way to close more clients, and that is to always keep your pipeline full, right? This is so important. I cannot stress this enough. And not having a full pipeline and multiple sales calls lined up each week can lead to many issues in your sales and your business, right? Number one issue is that it gives off desperate energy, which kind of turns people off, right? It will kind of make you feel needy, and the client will sense that you need them more than they need you, which is not the position that you want to be on an actual sales call. Number two problem is that it makes you lower your standards, and you will kind of be willing to work with anyone who gives you money. And that's just not doing you any good in your own self-esteem. And also, again, those people that you will work with who don't really meet your standards or criterias because you lowered them just because you don't have enough like leads in your pipeline, well, those are going to be pain in the ass clients to work with. So that's another problem with that. And also, number three is that it makes you overly anxious on sales calls because quote unquote a lot depends on it. Just imagine this. Imagine you had 10 calls for the next 7 days lined up with qualified potential prospects who could be a buyer for your service. Would you be stressing that much over one of those calls and whether you're going to close them or not? Probably not, right? So this is something that you need to fix. You need to make sure your pipeline is full and that you have a lot of calls lined up every week, right? And the solution for this is that you need to do outreach every day. You need to prospect every day. You need to actually track your numbers and know what's going on, right? Like know every month how many calls came in, how many offers you made, how many of those offers you closed, where did the calls come from, which marketing channel, and so on and so on. Actually know the numbers behind your business so you're not, just doing like guesswork. Now, you cannot be a great closer if your pipeline is dry, right? You need to keep your pipeline full. And this is something I learned from someone called David Dre. He's a freaking beast. He was like the top sales guy for Sam Ovens when he was running consulting.com. And yeah, the number one skill in sales is really just keeping your pipeline full, because if you can have a lot of sales calls booked every single week, then even if you have a bad closing percentage, even if you only close, 1 or 2 out of 10 people, you will still make a lot more money than other people who are better closers than you, but they don't have a lot of calls to take. Let's move on to number 3. And number 3 is to actually have standards, right? And this kind of ties back to the previous one. When you work with only who you want to work with, it is much easier to keep clients happy and build a good business. If you ever work with clients and you work with quote unquote bad clients or people who are not a good fit with you, you know how much of a headache that can be. And one bad client is going to cost you more money than the amount of money they will bring in. So do not work with everyone. You should not have 100% offer made rate. And an offer made rate is basically just, let's say you hop on 10 calls with prospects, right? And 7 out of those are qualified for your service, so you make an offer to 7 of them, right? Then that means you have a 70% offer made rate. And if you have a 100% offer made rate, that's a pretty bad sign, because that means you are willing to sell to everyone, even if they are not actually qualified, because pretty much it's impossible to only talk with qualified people. You will be meeting some people who are not exact fits for your service, or people who have some values that you don't like. So you should not have 100% offer made rate. Basically with me, I have also a coaching company called Grow Creatives. And basically there, we pretty much reject like 50% of applications straight away, right? We are very particular with who we work with, because if we take on clients who we cannot actually help, it's just going to hurt the business way more than, the benefit from that little bit of extra cash. So super important. A quick exercise that you can do for this is kind of like figure out what do you like and what do you don't like in clients, and you want to make a list of them, like make a list of the traits that you like in people, the traits that you dislike in people, and then you can basically like approve or reject people based on that list and whether you feel like they have those things or not. So a couple examples are like, I don't like impatient people who expect instant results. I don't like aggressive people. I don't like disrespectful people. So I'm not going to work with anyone who shows me any of those kind of like, traits. And also another reason again why having standards is super important is because if you have standards and if you're not willing to work with everyone, it's just going to give you a lot of self-confidence that you are actually really good, and that you have it just shows that you have respect for yourself, and your clients are going to sense that you respect yourself, and they are going to first of all like that, and they're also going to show you more respect if you respect yourself. Business is really like a mirror, like you really do get what you put in. You get that out as well. So that's the number 3 way to close more. So these are again more like underlying principles to be able to sell more, but I'm telling you, these are actually really important things. So just to sum it up again, number 1, you need to have strong belief in your product and service. So if you feel like it's not really there, then you should probably be working on that. Number 2, always keep your pipeline full. It's super important. If you have a lot of calls booked in every week, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of you. And even if you have a bad closing percentage, you're still going to make a lot of money, and you can obviously improve that and make even more over time. And number 3, have standards with who you work with. Do not have 100% offer made rate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you did, drop a comment down below and let me know what other topics you want me to cover in this space. And if you're looking to potentially get some one-on-one help with scaling your creative business, then go ahead and book a call below. It's mainly for people who are already working with a couple clients, but check it out below if you're interested, and let's chat. And either ways, hope you enjoy this, and I will see you in the next one.